Today we're going to look at scale drawings. A scale drawing is a drawing or a model of something that is very large or very small. And by using proportions, we could find actual lengths and sizes of either the actual, whatever it is that the scale drawing is a drawing of, or we could use proportions to find what the model is or the scale is of this, or the scale drawing is. So let's take some notes. A scale drawing of an object makes it possible to represent objects accurately that are either too large or too small to draw at their actual size. A scale factor, a number that determines how much a shape is enlarged or reduced. If the scale factor is less than 1, it is enlarged. If it is greater than 1, it is reduced. So you can see example 1, we have scale factor equals length of scale drawing over the length in the actual. So what we're going to do in the next few examples is determine what the scale factor is by placing the length of the scale drawing on top and the length of the actual on bottom and dividing. Find the scale factor if the length of an alligator is 175 inches and a toy alligator is 7 inches. So the length 175, toy 7 inches. Be careful with our reading of this. So the length of the scale drawing in this case would be 7 inches, and the length of the actual is 175 inches. So this fraction is really the scale factor. Okay? But we can divide the top by the bottom to find, to convert it to decimal form. And if we do that, let me get my calculator and divide 7 divided by 175, and it comes to 0.04 as a decimal, or can leave it in fraction form, 7 over 175. Let's take a look at number 2. Find the scale factor if the length of an actual airplane is 24 feet and a model airplane is 3 feet. So again, we just have to determine what the actual is and what the scale is. Okay? Now if we're talking about an airplane, then the scale is going to be obviously much smaller. So in this case, the scale would be 3 feet, and the actual would be 24 feet. Okay, and if I reduce this fraction by putting 3, ABC 24 equals in my calculator, it'll come to 1/8. And if I divide 1 divided by 8, I'm going to get 0.125. So the scale factor is 0.125 1/8, or 1/8 if I leave it as a fraction form. Let's find the scale factor in example 3. Find the scale factor if the height of an actual house is 39.2 feet and a dollhouse is 2.8 feet. So 2.8 would go up top because that's the scale drawing size, and 39.2 feet would go on bottom. So I could either keep it like that, or I can take 2.8 and divide it by 39.2, and that equals a long, messy decimal. So the decimal, sorry about that, is 0.0714, so on and so forth, right? In this case, let's round to the nearest hundredth. So the 1 is going to keep the 7, so we're going to be 0.07, or we can keep it in fraction form, 2.8 over 39.2. That would be the scale factor. Okay? Now, if we have the scale factor, and we have one of the lengths, either the scale length, scale drawing length, or actual length, okay, we could find the missing part. So finding actual distances given the scale factor, what we're going to do is set up a proportion. You guys have used proportions before, so we should be pretty good at this. Set up a proportion to find the actual or the scale drawing. Use X to represent the missing piece. So we're going to read this, and we are going to find the missing piece and represent that by X, and then we're going to cross multiply and divide. Okay. On a road map of Ohio, the distance from Cleveland to Pittsburgh is 4.5 centimeters. All right. So I'm going to draw this line here and here, and we have to put something on top and something on bottom, something on top and something on bottom. So it says on a road map of Ohio, the distance from Cleveland to Pittsburgh is 4.5 centimeters. So that is the scale drawing for, obviously, 4 centimeters, okay? We're dealing with centimeters and miles. So 4.5 centimeters would be the scale drawing, because you couldn't draw 30 miles or even 1 mile, okay, on a drawing. What is the actual distance between the cities if the map scale is 1.5 centimeters equals 30 miles? So if I'm using this proportion formula, it says on the left side, scale factor, scale, scale factor actual. So the scale factor scale is 1.5 centimeters. I'm going to place that up top. And the scale factor actual is 30 miles. So the missing piece, we put in X. It says, what is the actual distance between the cities? So we are finding the actual. So I'm going to cross multiply and divide. That's going to give me 1.5x equals 135. And I'm going to divide by 1.5, divide by 1.5, and I'm going to get x is equal to 90. And we're looking for the actual. So in this case, the actual is in miles. As we can remember, the scale is in centimeters. So it's x equals 90 miles. So 4.5 centimeters on that map actually equaled 90 miles. Let's take a look at number 2. The drawing below the building to the right has a scale of 1 inch to 30 feet. What is the width in feet of the building? So I want you to get in the habit of writing this out until you get really good at it. Scale over actual equals scale over actual. All right, so in this case, the scale factor is 1 inch over 30. So scale factor, scale is 1 inch over 30. What is the width in feet of the building? The width in feet. Okay? So we're looking for the actual width. What we need to know is the longest side is the length, the shorter side is the width. So we know what the scale drawing width is. It's 0.75. So using this, I'm going to put 0.75 up top, and we don't know the actual length. So we're going to put an X for the actual length. Got to be careful. We have to set this up right, because cross-multiplying, dividing is easy. But reading this question, putting the parts in the right place, that's what and it's not hard, but that's what you need to take a second to figure out. So we have 1 times x is 1x, or just simply x, and 30 times 0.75 equals 22.5, and let's be careful. Let's label this correctly. So 1 inch equals 30 feet. So 22.5, and we need to label it correctly, feet. Obviously, we wouldn't put inches. A building couldn't have a width of 22.5 inches, so 22.5 feet. All right. If you want to try example number 3 on your own, go ahead and hit pause and try example number 3 on your own. Example number 3. The scale of a model train is 1 inch to 13.5 feet. The actual length in feet of one train car, so the actual, is 74.25 feet. What is the length of the model train car? Okay, keyword, model train car. All right, so again, scale over actual equals scale over actual. I'm just going to abbreviate. You guys could abbreviate as well. All right, so the scale factor was 1 inch over 13.5 feet. The actual length in feet of one train car is 74.25 feet. So actual on this side, I'm going to put 74.25 there. In this case, we are finding the scale, okay? So the scale drawing or the scale model of it, we don't know what that length is, so we can put an X there. So if I cross multiply, I'm going to get 13.5 X equals 74.25. Okay, I'm going to divide by 13.5, and I know I'm running out of room. Divide by 13.5, and I'm going to get 5.5. X equals 5.5. So I put 5.5 there, and the units are inches. So number 4, in a scale drawing of an apartment, 1 centimeter represents 2 3/4 feet. If the length of the living room is 5 1/4 centimeter on the scale drawing, what is the actual length of the living room? So again, I'm going to put my handy dandy proportion formula, which is scale over actual equals scale over actual. All right, so the scale factor in this case is 1 centimeter. Obviously, I'm going to put that for the scale, and the actual representation is 2 3/4 feet equals if the length of the room is 5 1/4 centimeters on the scale drawing, so that's centimeters, is going to go up top because it's a scale drawing. We need to find the actual length. Okay, so if I cross multiply and divide, I'm going to get X is equal to 14 7/16 feet. Okay. Okay, again, try to do these on your own. Try to do number 5 on your own. Okay, look at the other examples. Ask a teacher if you need extra help before you just look at this video and write the answers down, because the only person you're hurting is yourself if you just do that. Okay, number 5. A model of a skyscraper is made so that 1 inch represents 75 feet. What is the height of the model if the height of the actual building is 1,395 feet? So scale over actual equals scale over actual. In this case, 1 inch over 75 feet equals the height. If the height of the model, okay, what is the height of the model if the height of the actual building is 1,395 feet? Okay, so we know the actual height, 1,395 feet. We need to find the height of the model. So that's where we're going to place our x. 75x, cross multiply and divide, equals 1,395 feet. Divide by 75, divide by 75, and we get x equals 18.6. So the height of the model is 18.6. Of course, it's not going to be 18.6 feet. Let's put the correct units down, 18.6 inches.